Hello, 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 party people. Welcome to the show. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, thanks for coming. I apologize. Just had a crazy day today, and next thing I know, is what 9 minutes in, and I'm not even ready for the show. I didn't even send Tim the link to the show, but we all know the show doesn't happen without the man with the V collar of Louisville, Mister Timmy himself. What's up, Timmy?
Joe, what is
How you
good?
doing?
I'm
Uh,
doing great,
Sorry
man.
about that. It's been a crazy day. I was like, I'm pretty sure I already sent him the link. I was about to text you, and next thing I know, I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I did not send him the link. This is a
It happens,
negator.
man. It happens.
He will not be collecting 500. He is going straight to jail. This what's going on right now. So
How are you?
it's Monday, and as usual, my Monday sucked. It's never a good day when you and the accountant have to meet more than once. You know
Oh
exactly
God,
shit's about to
no.
go down.
Yeah,
So
not about that life.
you know your Monday is gonna suck for sure,
Yeah,
guaranteed. Um, it's like being called at the principal's office. It's
exactly what it's
terrible.
like.
It's terrible. But this Monday is not about us.
No.
This Monday is about our guests.
Yes, sir.
Craziest thing is I always tell people seeing a brand, right, and knowing the people behind the brand are two different things, right? Because design, how you look at a bottle and what you think of that bottle, then you taste the juice and you're like, who is behind this thing? And then you meet the people, you're like, oh, they're cool motherfuckers around this shit. It's not just the bottle, is that the people themselves actually are cool, and it can go both ways, right? So if you guys are here right now, if you're on Facebook, make sure you actually click the like button or the love button so you can show us some love. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you share this with your friend, and we will be taking questions from people that are buying super stickers. So if you put a big old sticker
Oh,
and
super,
actually bring it on, your question
super.
is going to appear here really big, and we'll make sure that we actually answer your question first before everybody's question. You guys know about this brand. It's been around for a while. Is the love child of everybody on whiskey, TikTok, and Instagram. Whiskey Instagram. Everybody talks about this brand. I haven't met anybody else. As a matter of fact, I felt like I was the last of the people that actually had Sagamore. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's like I literally had to meet Brian himself, and I felt like an asshole because I walked to Brian at New Orleans Bourbon Festival and I said, "Oh, you the guy?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm Sagamore." And meanwhile, you got Brent, his partner. They're going, "Oh, Monday sucks, Jack, man. Good to see you." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm an asshole. I'm 100% guaranteed certified asshole because these people obviously are the kindest and nicest people, but the only time I drink their juice is because everybody from Maryland and Virginia is like, you need to try our own juice. But enough talking about the brand. Let's bring the people on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you hear, put a F in the chat, put a nice a high on that. Let's welcome Brian, the duo, Brian and Brent from Sagamore. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Well, gentlemen, welcome
Let's
to the
go.
show.
It's great to be
It's
here.
Welcome
been
Thank
to
you
this
very much
welcome
for
to
been a
the
having me.
long
shit
time,
show.
been a long time coming. Welcome to the shit show.
You're way too hard on yourself, man.
I don't like to be that guy, so that's the reason why it annoys me when it's like. And I would definitely say I'm definitely gonna blame Brett. He made me feel bad. Definitely. He literally said I met him at the first. He said like, Jack, how you doing, man? And I'm like,
Ah, shit.
what's up, man? What's up,
I've been
man?
following for a long time.
You know those things where you go, what's up, man? What's up? I don't know who you are, but what's up, man? And it's like Monday sucks, right? You guys are here all the time. I'm like, oh, you watch the show. I'm humbled. But again, in my head, I'm like, the fuck are you again? I feel like I should know you, right? And meanwhile, Brian he just walk in, just if you ever met, Tim, if you ever met Brian, he reminds you of the cool uncle, Right. That's what you remind
He
me.
looks like the cool uncle.
Yeah, the cool uncle that have no kids. Like, Brett there is like the dad, right?
Like,
He's like the dad. He walking like a dad.
yes,
Brian is the one walking like the cool uncle. He used to actually,
This is
ride a
Brian. This is
motorcycle
Brian.
back
Roll
in the
into the party.
day. Yeah, was the
Living in the
coolest guy in the family. Your dad hate for you to hang out with him, but he's the one who bail you out of jail. Now that's literally what Brian. That's his vibe the whole time. Like the cool uncle. Like my uncle, I've seen some shit. Like he doesn't talk a lot, but you have seen some shit. So welcome to the show. This is Monday Sucks, the place where you can be yourself. Tomorrow we'll regret it, but today we will enjoy it. The show where we love people and most of all, we enjoy a good pour. Sagamore Spirit is a long time coming. It's our pleasure to have you on. I will start with cool uncle. We got to keep in your back. Let's start. Will you guys choose? I will let you guys choose. Let's start with an introduction. Who are you guys? Even though I know who you are, tell the people listening online right now who you are, what you do, and why you on Monday Sucks.
Sure.
Mr. Brett.
I'll start. My name is Brett Bauer. I'm the Central Sales Director for Sagamore. I've been here just shy of 5 years. Spent a lot of time opening up most markets west of Pennsylvania for us, and just excited and very fortunate to represent such a great brand and great juice and a great culture, great people, and then get to interact with folks like yourselves. So out there just kind of preaching the Sagamore gospel for the last 5 years and very lucky to do so.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brett. Cool uncle, what's happening?
Well, let me. I don't know that's. I don't know what to think of that. It might be the nicest thing anybody said to me. So I'm gonna just soak it up. Like,
Just go with it, man.
Yeah,
just go with it.
You just roll with it, man.
But Brett is way too humble. Brett's been here very early on in trying to get this brand off the ground. Has done a tremendous amount to help get the Sagamore name and brand built. Works way too hard, like so many people I work with, and has his thumb on like all things whiskey and industry, and has been doing this for close to 20 years, Brett.
Yeah, just over.
Yeah,
Damn.
and so
Again, the
if I have
dad.
a question,
Yeah.
like about a brand or a person or something, I usually call Brett and say, "You ever heard of this or know this person?" And he can almost always say, "Yeah," and then I give you a little background on it, and I'm like, "So
I know who that guy is."
yeah." So to be honest, he's the one who turned me on to you, Jack. So it's just like So again, but my name's Brian Tracy. One of the co-founders here at Sagamore Spirit. Been here since day one, and we're having a lot of fun building this brand, and even more fun meeting the people within the industry and learning as much as we can from everybody. And we always enjoyed feedback. We love good questions, and just again want to thank you for the opportunity to come on the show. It's a real pleasure, and I miss Bourbon Fest in New Orleans already. I can't wait. We should be doing those things like once a quarter, man.
Every quarter, I agree. Every quarter, some should go down. I told Tim, and I was telling a friend of mine this weekend who came from the UK. I said it's different to be adjacent to the industry. Like this person worked with accessories that have to do with whiskey, right? So I'm walking them through a flight of like the best things to try. So we did the Kentucky, we did the Indiana, and then I'm like, oh, let's talk about craft. Let me show you some of these brands that you never heard of or you never hear of in the UK. So, from Penelope to Sagamore to all these brands, I'm like, and he's tasting this. And I'm like, the coolest part about this thing is meeting, because this person work a lot in investing in brands. So he will ask me like, oh, what are the people behind this? Like, what's their name? Like, you ask stuff like that. And I'm like, the coolest part of enjoying a whiskey is knowing that the person that makes it actually is cool or actually you can like, right? The worst part sometime as a consumer or even just simply being in the whiskey industry is knowing that I like your whiskey, but I will never actually have dinner with you or even hang out with you because you are an asshole. you know, but so you guys, when I met you guys, it was one of those weird things. You know, it was obviously you guys and Sean from Pinhook, I believe it was there, and it didn't even feel like competition. It didn't feel like two different brands. For a second there, I thought Brett worked for Pinhook.
Because I remember that.
Yeah, I literally thought you worked for Pinhook because you guys were just so cool together. You didn't make this thing as if I'm this brand and you this brand. Y'all are really about the people around. So that's what captured me in. I'm like, nope, these are the people I wanna hang out with. Absolutely. So thanks for coming on the show. It's gonna be, like I said, welcome to the shit show. We are here. People are gonna ask you crazy questions. We'll try to moderate as much as we can. You already have fans in the comment already. People are telling you to love your expression. When we posted about this, I had a lot of message of people that say, "Oh, you having Sagamore on? I have this expression and this expression and this one." I'm like, okay. Are you guys like the new Pokemon of whiskey? What's going on here? Why people asking me like, "Oh, do you have this expression?" I'm like, no. They're like, "Oh, I got this one and I got this one," and I'm okay. So people love things that you put out. I was introduced to you guys weirdly, by actually the latest release of your rye that actually came out. I was sent a sample of the blended, is it 3 or 4 blended rye that you guys did, and it was like a gold color bottle. Complete gold color, like it was just released like end of yeah, it was like
Bond.
Yeah, the bottle and bond, that one, the platinum.
What? How do I not know about this?
So the craziest thing is that's literally the first time I had a sip of Sagamore, and I'm like, I literally went verbatim. And the guys in Maryland would tell you. I said, "What the fuck is this? Who made this?" And they're like, "Oh, this is Maryland." I'm like, "Oh, so y'all are bad like that?" So that's why y'all are here. I want to hear about you. So tell us a little bit about the distillery. How did it come about? What? We got a celebrity. We got a celebrity in the house.
Bishop in the house. Bishop in the house.
We got Alan Bishop himself in the house, so he is always good to actually have people in the industry come and say hello. Tell us a little bit about the distillery. If I wake up today and I say I'm coming to Sagamore, what's the story behind Sagamore, and what is it that, even though I'm sure you told this story more time than you need to, right? What I don't want you to give me the regular schmegular story, right? If I somebody who want to come and spend a day in Sagamore, tell me what I should expect. You know, what should draw me into Sagamore, and what will be my experience at that distillery? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because we asked ourselves that kind of same question. If we had somebody come to the distillery, what would we want them to walk away with? What would be like kind of like this moment for them? And just want to make sure, you guys getting any feedback? Are we good?
No, you good.
Cool.
I'm good.
But we really kind of wanted people to leave our distillery and say, gosh, I had no idea Maryland was that involved in distilling and had that kind of history of distilling. And so, oh yeah, Alan, I never remember you moonshine you, that's for sure. You know, so, you know, a lot of folks may not know, and to be honest, Jack, you know, we tell the story every day. We love telling the story every day, and that's the way you build a brand. We'll probably have to tell it about another 5.9 million times before it gets anywhere, but that's okay. You know, it gives job security. And so, but, you know, Maryland has a great history of distilling. It goes back 1600s, really rum at the time. And then we started getting hit a lot with molasses and taxes and tariffs on the molasses out of the British West Indies. And, you know, being the second largest site for immigration to the U.S. next to Ellis Island, with the Inner Harbor, we had a tremendous amount of people from Poland, Germany, Scotland, Ireland, who knew how to distill grain-based type products. And so we grew a lot of rye grain as a cover crop for the tobacco fields. And then so we basically just said, well, let's not pay the taxes and tariffs. Let's just go ahead and just start, you know, making grain-based type products. And we just probably by the mid 1700s made nothing but rye whiskey going forward. And then, you know, you had the Whiskey Rebellion rumblings, and that moved a lot of families out of the Mid-Atlantic region in the 1780s into the 1790s to places that weren't developed yet even at the time. Kentucky, but by 1792 or so would be. But Basil Hayden and Mary and Jacob Beam kind of got their distilling roots started here in Maryland. And of course, we all know, luckily, the Whiskey Rebellion ends peacefully. Distilling flourishes in this country. And, fast forward to 1910, we have 44 distilleries in Maryland, all making rye whiskey, 22 in downtown Baltimore. We keep making it through Prohibition. It's one of the reasons we're called the Free State. And then eventually switched over to ethanol production to help support World War II and never made much of a comeback after that. And last distillery closed its doors in 1982 and sold the name off to Heaven Hill, and that was Pikesville Rye. And we just thought it was really interesting that, the distilleries, even down in, places like Kentucky wanted the Maryland brand names, and the identity of Maryland style rye could live on for decades without actually anybody in Maryland actually doing it. So we thought it was a great opportunity to come back and revive that and help, and we're one of 40 distilleries. It's not like just Sagamore here in Maryland. We've got a nice distilling scene here in the state. Wow. And so just kind of help tell that story of what is Maryland style rye and kind of like so many other states doing it. It's a great thing too for cities and jobs and so forth. That wasn't necessarily the number one reason, but we knew it'd be good for us. I think you're on mute if you want to be.
So
Yeah,
can we talk about the difference
I can see
between?
I'm trying to be like Brett and put my binoculars on. So
Can we talk about the difference between a Maryland rye and a Kentucky rye?
I would love to talk about that because I'm not, I can always easily tell you the difference between like a Maryland rye and a Monongahela style, but it's kind of interesting because Maryland was known as having like a sweeter, more approachable, fruity floral type rye whiskey. And I'd love to hear your opinion on or thoughts on what a Kentucky rye is, because I think it flirts a little bit with, a lot of times I think I've heard people, and this is where I'd like to hear what other people think, and is like it's a rye that has a lot of corn in it, a mash bill that has a lot of corn in it, so, and a lot of times it's funny because I hear a lot of times people refer to Pikesville when if you read the back label, it talks about Maryland. So I'm always kind of like, but I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so a Kentucky rye to me is any kind of rye that has any corn in a mash bill at all. Corn for me, for what when I drink a Kentucky rye, that corn really helps soften up some of that spice of that rye. So you get a sweeter, I would say more approachable rye for people. It's kind of where I like people to start when they're drinking rye. They're like, I like bourbon, but what else is out there? American wise is like, well, there's American rye, there's American whiskey. You want to drink that? You want to try that out? So try to ease them in a way at Kentucky rye, because I feel like if I put big bad Sagamore in front of them, they'd be like, whoo. But that's just what Kentucky rye is to me. I haven't heard a whole lot of the term Maryland rye.
Actually, it was pretty new to me. But when you started saying it, I'm like, oh, Maryland rye. That because I guess if you understand history, this is not weird, right? It's not foreign to you. But if you don't really understand the history behind something, when you were saying it, I actually went in and Googled Maryland rye just to know exactly. I'm like, oh, that it is a thing. Like, yeah, I'm a constant student, and I was like, oh, this is now something interesting to know, because it brings me to the point of what are we drinking first? Because as you were talking about that Maryland rye, my first thing I'm like, I want to taste this thing. I want to know, we drink Kentucky rye all the time. So, okay, let me see what that Maryland rye, stands at. So,
yeah.
Well, what will be the first thing that you would say we should start with to really get a grasp of what your intent was when you started Sagamore?
I apologize. I don't even think we sent you our what we kind of consider to be like the ultimate definition in our core, our signature rye. And the reason I say that is a lot of them there, Brett has it. Historically, the Maryland ryes were 80 or 86 proof, and that one's 83 proof, kind of splits it right down the middle. And that one's really very approachable, quite a bit fruit and floralness to it. And so I apologize. We should send you some of that too. And so you can kind of get an idea of that. But something that's a little bit unique too, that, is we do two mash bills. We do one that's 95% rye, 5% malted barley, which everyone is pretty much familiar with. And then we do one that's 52% rye, 43% corn, 5% malted barley.
Okay.
And we age them separately because we all know rye and corn during maturation really react differently inside the barrel. But every product we have has both of those mash bills in it. And the reason we do that is we really like how you get that baking spice you might associate with the rye, the clove, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, that type of thing, the mint. But we also love the fruit and floral sweetness that we get out of the barely legal rye with the 43% corn. And so that's a little something that's unique, different. And so we kind of take basically, which I guess in some ways makes sense, and this is just our own spin on it really, is we kind of take almost something that flirts with Monongahela style, and then we take something that flirts almost with style, and we're in the middle anyways, and just kind of mash the two together, and it varies how the way we use the two mash bills from bottle to bottle. I should say.
because that was one of the questions. Somebody say, how much of those two mash bill are your own distillate now?
So as far as our own distillate, it's a great question. So as you may or may not know, we started with MGP. We thought it made a lot of sense for us to, if we're going to tell you about the history of rye whiskey, I didn't want to present to you a vodka in the meantime, or I knew it was a bad business plan to start building 4 years to build a distillery and 4 years age of product and then collect $1. So we were lucky to work with Larry Eversold, who was the master distiller there before handing over the reins to Greg Metz. Both amazing individuals, as you guys know, really helped get us established and off the ground. And we distilled with them through early 2017. We just celebrated this past weekend the 5-year anniversary of our distillery being open to the public. So when you hear our products, like, our cash strength tonight is a blend of 4 to 7. The 4 and the 5-year-old part of it is Maryland. The 6 and 7 is going to be MGP. And so we're right around 20% of the product being Maryland aged and distilled. And then by the end of the year, we'll probably be closer to 40%. In about another 18 months, it'll be maybe 20 months. It'll be probably close to 100. Every product should be close to 100%, if not 100%. And so
that's progress.
And then this bottled and bond is our first one ever that's 100% distilled, 100% aged in Maryland. And we actually just put it into San Francisco Spirit Competition this spring, and it took double gold. So we're a little bit happy.
That was good. That was good. That's the one I tried. That's the one. That's a sample I received. I know you guys did what? You guys did distillery only for that bottle?
We did primarily Maryland. There was a few bottles that leaked out to a few, like I think about 6 other markets. But
that's why I don't know about it. There we go.
Yeah, it's very.
I'm not as upset now.
Yeah, no. Just to give you an idea, it was obviously 4-year. This year we'll do 5-year, and then we'll do 6-year. And we think we want to get this product to be about a 6 or 7 year, and then we're just kind of holding back that inventory to get to that age, and then we'll release a lot more national.
Absolutely, that makes sense. That's a good plan to have.
So as far as what we got tonight, I think we got 3 products, correct? We've got our double oak, which is a blend of the 2 straight mash bills after 5 years, and then we'll put it into a toasted wave state barrel for another 18 months. So just about 6.5 years old, and then 96.6 proof. We have our cash strength, which is probably where maybe we jump in there if we want. That's our closest.
I gotta ask.
I told you he's the cool uncle. I like his style. Just go cash strength right away.
Ooh.
All right.
Why is one significantly darker than the other?
What's the batch numbers on them? There's one that looks like a 2D in your left.
So that's
2E.
is what you got. Yeah.
Yep. And then what's the other one? 10
12 AB.
Okay. So the one on your left is 4-year-old rye whiskey.
Okay.
And the one on your right is 4 to 7, with the bulk of it being 6 and 7.
Okay.
Ha.
So that's kind of the evolution of our products over, where our signature rye is a blend of 4 and 6, and that'll probably remain there. We would like to get our cask strength eventually to be more like 5 to 8, maybe even 6 to 8. So it's just like
Well, I'll
everything.
tell you, I love it at this.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm real excited to drink this one.
That'll be really cool that you have both there. That's very cool.
Well, and Tim, it kind of touches on what you were talking about earlier in the Kentucky rye. Like this signature here, if people are hesitant to try rye, or they haven't tried a rye, or maybe they tried one and it just blew them away with spice, they like whiskey. You get them to taste this, and it'll open their minds to the whole world of rye. And they might not always make it to our cask strength or one of our finishes or something like that. But I in doing this and tasting thousands and thousands of people over the years, it's definitely, I get a lot of eye opening. You're like, oh wow, okay, that's really good. And then we bring down the journey. To me, and Brian can speak to it better than I, but I think this cask is the best example of what Brian and the team thought. Our version of Maryland rye, the definition we wanted to put out there, what is, and to me, it's my favorite thing we make. And it's just an outstanding whiskey.
I can't disagree with you on that, because it's my favorite thing that you guys make too. I can't even tell you how much I've gone through this. Like there was one liquor store that was here local, and for whatever reason they weren't moving it, so it all got discounted to $35 a bottle, and I went yoink, and I just bought all of it. So
you might know that story.
It's one of those, it's kind of a sleeper in the market. Like a lot of people just aren't that familiar with it. But those who eventually stumble upon it, I never seem to have any complaints.
I need to check the proof on this. 112. So
that's what it's always been, right?
We've had some 111s and some 114s. Okay. But we typically are around 112. What we are seeing, which is interesting, is like when we're coming out of a lot of the MGP whiskey, is barrel entry proof at 120, but we seem to be coming out around an average of about 113. But what we were excited about with the Maryland rye that we're aging here, because we're not using the old Seagram's big stone houses, which are really cool. We're using like metal sided warehouses that we paint black, and get up to almost 130 Fahrenheit on the top floor in the summer. We don't condition them or anything like that. And we're seeing our barrel proofs go up. We're hovering around 124, 125. We're starting to see on some of these on that upper racks.
Holy smokes.
I would tell you one thing.
Woo!
You guys have what I love and hate about rye at the same time. So for the longest time, I stayed away from rye because the spiciness will just give me major heartburn. But what I love about rye is those herbaceous notes. That lavender undertone is like what I love. Like when I smell a rye, or I take a sip of a rye and I get that burst of herbaceous lavender scent come through, I'm excited. But because it's cask strength, you getting that heat on front, the herbaceous in the middle, and the finish is just sweet. Like you're like, oh, it's like having a best friend that annoys you. Like, I don't know. That's the best way I can describe this. It's like Tim. This rye is like Tim. Exactly. That's really it. At the beginning, cask strength at the beginning is not everybody cup of tea. Middle, herbaceous, you see the essence of it. But at the end, it's just sweet.
Just sweet, baby. I can't believe the difference between these two. Obviously, it's blended. It's got, much older stock in it. But even the
I have to
the body of the rice. You got like a nice spicy rye.
That's the Jolie of Allen. That's what this rye is. That's definitely the Jolie of Allen. That's definitely what this rye is. Red is not on right now. Otherwise, she's gonna blow a casket and go off.
I think people often are a little, pleasantly surprised by how high, like this, even at 112, 113, it doesn't necessarily drink like that. You know, maybe 105, 107.
Even lower for me. If I had this without knowing the proof, I'll be like, because by the third sip, now that your mouth is properly coated, it drink like a bottle and bun. It truly drink like a bottle and bun. It's straight to the point, perfect. I'm loving these. When I breathe in and out, those herbal notes that I'm getting are just delicious. Like, you almost want to scrape your tongue just to get those extra notes that are coming in, like those oils that are sticking to your tongue. So I'm pleasantly surprised.
That's great. I always like to say it's proof with a purpose. It's right to the level where that alcohol is providing the right amount of evaporation and then exposing some depths of flavor. It's not too hot. It's not too low. It really balances out, and just to me, it's just a great finish. It just is.
Brett, this question is for you.
Yes,
your operation. This question is for you.
Yeah. We launched Oklahoma.
It's Matt. So Matt is gonna ask you all the hard questions.
Yeah, he's texting. We're texting on the side. But speaking of great people in the industry, it was so awesome to hang with him in New Orleans as well. And we're just over 40, mid 40s.
Wow.
Launched Oklahoma today. Nebraska's coming. We're coming for you, Jack. And
you need to come to Nebraska, man.
We're coming. I'm waiting on the order. We're all good to go.
I would take care of your whole activation in Nebraska.
Before I book any trip to launch it, I'm making sure you're available for at least a dinner and a drink.
Absolutely.
So
let's show Nebraska what's going on. But here's my question. Here's my question. And Matt also asked that question, and I was also curious about it. He asked, and I'm gonna put up his question, because one of the reason why, now he hit me when he asked that question. If you've known my history in the whiskey industry, till a year and a half ago, I stayed away from rye. Because my experience with rye were so bad to the point where I had to be prescribed some antacid, and to the point where it was so bad that I just stayed away from rye. So his question reminded me of why I saw a great review about Sagamore but never wanted to try it. And the reason why is this question. Because every time I've seen that, I was like, oh, rye. These people only produce rye? I don't know, man.
But we're pretty focused in on rye. I'll say that we've kind of bet the farm on that for the most part. We do have a farm, so like we grow a lot of rye grain there. But
was there hesitation, like you tell us something you can't?
I would just say never. Like, I
don't like. See? This is Monday Sucks. We don't keep secrets. Monday Sucks. Okay, Monday sucks because there's no secret. All the secrets are out. That's why Monday sucks. So I'm gonna need more than just you can never say never. I'm gonna need a little more than that.
Well, I can tell you, if we released a bourbon, we'd probably want it to be at least probably probably 8 years old. So if we were to do it, I think it's going to be some time.
Nothing wrong with time.
And
like, so we can have another conversation in 3 years. I'm gonna set my calendar now. 3 years.
Yeah, like we've dabbled.
You want to tell us? You want to tell us? You want to?
It's not anytime soon. That's for sure.
Okay, all right.
If we do,
and just shameless plug. How about Sagamore Spirit of French Lip collab? You see,
I'm not afraid, Alan. I mean, you guys are
there is
doing
one
some
person I always say is always crazy to create things that people will never dare to do, and it's that Hoosier.
we
That
we'd be
Hoosier in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. He's never afraid.
we'd be
Every time I
stealing
see
brand
Alan,
from them. We'd be stealing brand. They're the ones that no one can stop talking about.
yeah.
Like, that's for sure, man. They're like, Alan, we need to reconnect. It's been too long. Was it 2013? October 2013? Um, Moonshine U. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not originally from the university, so I had to take some of these like shotgun courses to try and get like.
So I'm loving the fact that I'm loving the fact that you guys are putting out there. Now you speak of a farm, so obviously you guys have a lot of rye that you are growing. So how much of that is exported or bought by other distilleries?
Nothing right now. Just to kind of give
Oh
you an
wow.
idea. When we started, we like everybody probably. You're like, oh, we'll source a bunch of local grain. It'll be great. I mean, doesn't everybody grow rye? And
Mhm.
come and find out, like no one really grows rye,
Nope.
and for a lot of reasons, it's one of the only uninsurable crops there is. So there's a lot of risk. It's tough to grow, and so it's kind of one of these things where, so we partnered up with a local farmer. We kind of started want to build out like a shared value program. And so we buy the seed up front, so there's no out of pocket expense for them. We share the risk with them. We don't hold them to a yield per acre, but we hold them to a quality standard. And then
Hmm.
we lease property from them for silos and mills. And in the first year, we did 50,000 pounds of rye. And then we're now about year 5 in it. And last year we harvested over 1 million pounds of Maryland grown rye.
Wow.
We get 100% of the non-GMO corn we need from our farm. And we've harvested about 2.5 million pounds of rye since we started the program. But we mill about 4.5 million pounds of rye a year. So we have sold some of the corn to other distilleries. Um, but it's been a very, very fun project in learning to build that out. And, we don't know if we'll ever want to get it all from one state. There's some risk to that. But it's been really great working with these farmers, really controlling everything from start to finish. It's so incredibly important to really understand it. And then now we're also partnered up with the University of Maryland Department of Agriculture, and are growing 5 different varietals to understand different flavor notes, different types of yields you can get. So, as much as I think bourbon's an amazing spirit, we really are trying to just get laser focused and stay laser focused on one thing to learn as much as possible. If we ever did a bourbon, I can promise you it'd be a high rye bourbon. But like,
Absolutely. The one thing I kept thinking about as you were talking is rye is very temperamental. So you see in what Minnesota is growing rye now. Canada has produced most of the rye. Obviously, Europe is producing some of the rye as well. I look at it as is that something that you guys are using as being a pioneer on growing your own rye and producing that rye whiskey, almost from from farm to from farm to glass, right? Because that's kind of what you guys are giving the consumer is from farm to glass, giving them that authenticity in the whiskey that is being pretty much produced and consumed. But now, obviously, you guys are blending right now, with a little bit of MGP. But is that the ultimate goal? Is that the 100% goal, whereas all our rye is producing all our whiskey, so we can actually have uh, the our consumer can have what we grow pretty much.
yeah, no, you do. I think our goal is to have some product lines we have that are 100% Maryland grain, 100% Sagamore grain, and 100% Maryland oak. But we won't ever probably get enough to do our entire product line, to be totally honest. And there's, again, it's very interesting. Like rye is a very, well, maybe because we're new to it, it's very finicky. And
Hmm.
so it's scary to put kind of all of our eggs in one basket
Hmm.
and then not have a relationship potentially with a grain broker one day. And then if we have a bad year, drought, harvest, whatever it may be in Maryland, and try and start those relationships. So we like to have a lot of partnerships on a lot of different levels. We think it just helps create a stable business. So we still work with grain producers, and then we also, obviously, but we love the ability to control a lot of it here in Maryland and really understand and experiment. Like a lot of we probably have over 60 different R&D projects going in our aging barns right now. We just want to try and learn as much as we can.
I understand. Alan has a question for you.
Oh,
How is rye price looking?
How is the
with
price
modern
of a rye
conflicts?
with the modern conflict for you guys?
not good. We're first of all, I think, and Alan probably knows this better than anyone. I mean, I'll go back to 2018, 2019. We were paying, I think, $9 to $11 a bushel for rye, and about $2.53 a bushel for non-GMO corn. Those prices have completely exploded. And I would say, when we started growing our own grain, it wasn't necessarily ever thinking that we could do this to save a bunch of money. It was really about just trying to control it from start to finish as much as you can, and learn as much as you can. But it has worked out really well, especially because, like you said, a lot of this can be coming from Europe, Germany, Sweden, whatever it may be. And you think about what we're paying now for all the freight on these ships, like compared to 2 years ago. So prices that we've seen, the glass has gone up 30%, grain's gone up 30%, the barrels have gone up 30%.
Don't even remind me of that glass bullshit.
Seriously.
Like one of the craziest thing, I can feel everyone suffering when it comes to this glass situation, because I have a few classes that I do where people are cognac drinkers, and somebody is like, do you know that Hennessy prices went up by almost 40%? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I just bought a bottle of Hennessy, was $1.99, and this bottle was like maybe $1.19 a year ago. And it's one of those things that I can only feel you guys' pain on how you guys are able to keep up and produce, knowing that, because I had to learn about glass, that this is a custom mold that you guys have for Sagamore. And literally, I had to learn that on TikTok. Somebody taught me that on TikTok. That how you know about custom mold is if the glass comes with the person, the person's name on the glass, then this is a custom mold glass made for them. And I'm like, oh, now I know who spent money on their glass and who doesn't. Right? So congratulations on that. I would say, now that we know how the juice, how the juice is made, what inspired you guys to make the juice? What is the inspiration behind all these releases that you guys have? I feel like you guys have always, like, probably every other month, a new banger that is out.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You like that one.
I feel like I get ahead of it, and
here.
then it's like,
I'm like, how many bottles of Sagamores do you have, Ryan? I don't understand. How many do they have, and how many do you own, right? Because Ryan will have a picture there, and I'm like, how many Sagamores are out there? I can't keep up. So that's the first part of my question, and the second part will be probably for you, Brett, as well, because you probably are doing things. What is are some of these just barrel selection from other people, so that's what make it special? Or is it just things that you guys have so many project iron in the fire, and you're like, oh, we're gonna take this one out today, abracadabra, and that's another one, then we're gonna take it out. So how is that going? You guys can answer it however works for y'all.
It's a really good question, and we're trying to actually, by no means are we trying to overload the market with a bunch of crazy things. What we just found was, in the beginning, we're just really wanted to learn as much as we could as far as the way the grain would react inside different types of barrels, whether it's a distilled type product, whether it's a beer type product, whether it's a fortified wine, whatever it may be. And we started doing a lot of projects just to learn and how it would react, and to try and learn about the versatility of rye, and also having multiple mash bills and how they can react. And so we've gotten to the point where we basically have 2 reserve series that release every single year. The spring 2022 is this rum cask, which we can get into in a little bit. And then in the fall will be a sherry finish. We've done Manhattan finish. We've done cognac finish. We've done port finishes. But we try and do one in the spring, which is a pretty small release. And then the one in the fall is a little bigger with the holidays. At the distillery itself, we have a new release just about every 6 to 8 weeks.
Damn.
And they're usually only 1 to 2 barrels. And what it is it's informing the Sagamore Reserve line. And so we're taking some small finishing projects or experiments in R&D, and we're selling them to the public that we think they're good, but then gathering up feedback. And then does that inform a larger release 3, 4, 5 years down the road? And one of the advantages we have being in Baltimore, Philadelphia, Norfolk, and Baltimore all have huge ports that are very close to us and easy driving. And the other day, someone texted us again and said, hey, we just got a whole bunch of barrels from this particular region and so forth. They're sitting in the port at Philadelphia if you'd like to drive up and smell them. And so we can literally get in the car, drive an hour and 15 minutes, pop the bung off of these, and hand select barrels that we think smell really fantastic and would have like an amazing finish, and we'd be really curious. And it can be a 400 liter cognac barrel, a 450 or 500, and a 600. And it's just like, well, this ought to be interesting to see how they react.
Correct.
How's the 400 liter going to react to the 600 liter? And so, the one that we just released this weekend for anniversary was we took 4-year-old rye and we finished it for 4 years inside a 600 liter cognac barrel. So it was 8 years total, but I think we could do that extra length of maturation finishing because we had such a huge barrel, and it was a lot of fun. And so, but we definitely understand. Brett has probably told me, as much as he loves them, he's like, you can't do this to people. So,
no, I can't. I truly cannot keep up. I was like, okay, there's no way there's this much outside of it. But I love also the innovation. I feel like you guys need to have like a bottle club, right? So every time you take this thing out, you can send it out in this little 375 little bottles, so everyone can kind of have a little sip of it. Because I always do my research when I want to interview a brand, and I'm like, there's no way they have this much out there. There's no way. You can't be 5 years old and have that much out there. But now that you explain it, it makes sense. I love experimentation. I feel like that's the cornerstone of evolving your juice and bringing the consumer something new.
And that's the reason one of the reasons you build a distillery is like you want to control the quality, and you also want to be able to experiment, innovate, and so forth, right? It's tough when you're working with, again, MGP was a great partner, but I mean, they weren't going to let me come in their warehouses and start doing innovation, or anything like that. So, I mean, you make the investment into a distillery for a reason, so you can now you have it at your fingertips. And of course, everything takes time. So we the Manhattan finish, we didn't know it'd be so well received. And that was in 2021. And so now we're really excited to release that again in 2025.
Because you guys had a good response on it.
But at the same time, to go do it again is going to take, the fastest we can turn it around is 4 years later,
Yeah.
Even with aged, we already have aged whiskey. It's just the finishing part. And so
what is the next thing we try? I feel like we're gonna finish with this double oak because I heard so much good thing.
Well, we could jump into that rum cask finish. I mean, obviously we're not reinventing the wheel here. That's been happening for a long time. Angel's Envy, Redemption. So many folks have it, which is great. We did do a small release about 4 years ago, and we really liked it. And so something we did that was unique this time is we took 5 and 6 year old rye, and then we finished it for 10 months in South American rum cask and Jamaican rum cask. And it was just about 50-50.
Oh, Jamaican's always the way to go.
And so, but we thought it'd be interesting to kind of have a little bit of a blend of both. And so then we finished for 10 months in there. So we're just about 6 to 7 years old altogether, and then proofed it to 98 proof.
Get some of that.
So before we tried that, Somebody tried to explain this to me, but they couldn't because they sent me this sample. What is the penny proof? What's the story behind the penny proof?
You have a very nice friend out there.
Yeah, and
He
literally,
really likes you.
they told me,
You
they're
got
like,
no
"Hey,
penny proof.
And by the
no,
way,
no,
I
no,"
am
because
on these, I don't know how to type.
they send me this, yeah, and when
What?
you need to try this, they grabbed it at the distillery, and they're like, "Oh, Jack, we got you this since you like that bottle, because they couldn't send me a bottle of your the last release, the bottling bond. They just sent me a 2-ounce sample, but they sent me this penny proof, and I'm like, what's the story behind this?
I'm going to send you a picture of the line they stood in, and you'll even like that person even more.
Yeah,
Wow.
They started getting to the distillery at 7 p.m. the night before and sleeping out front. And so, obviously doing MGP, a lot of people kept saying, when are you releasing 100% aged, 100% distilled, 100% aged product from yourself? And we wanted people to say, try and understand why you wait. And so we said, how about this? Why don't our whiskey thieves is like kind of like our loyal followers, if you will. You can sign up to become a whiskey thief. And why don't we go ahead and annually release them this box? And it's got 3 200 milliliter samples of the whiskey that we distilled and aged. And we'll go ahead and release it at age year 2.5. And then we'll do it a year later at 3.5. And then we'll do it a year later at 4.5. And it's called Sip, Share, Savor. So that's why you have 3 bottles. You can sip one now to understand what it tastes like young. You can share one with a friend, which someone did with you, Jack. And then you can savor for later and follow along a maturation journey. And then our column still big and shiny like a copper penny. We call her Penny. And then we sell it to you for a penny.
I thought Alan was a crazy person that gave name to his still. Apparently, he's a thing.
No, you got to name your still. And so penny. It's proof that Penny's making good whiskey, but you're also proof why you wait. And so we sell it for a penny. And so people can follow along with 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, and so forth, and say, okay, so they can sample the whiskey and they can say it tastes good, but I think I can see why you wait a little bit longer. You don't release a 2.5-year-old rye, things like that. Not that you can't. Some people have done it, they've done it very well, but we just chose to wait, especially the corn mash bill needing more time, especially. So that's what Penny's Proof story is. That's we have a few of those journeys planned where folks can kind of follow along with us.
The one I have here is the 4.5 years old.
That was last November.
Yeah. So by age,
Ellen has a very interesting question.
Yeah,
says,
Alan is.
You gonna put it on the screen?
Is definitely here for y'all.
There you go.
He must really like y'all because he will swipe by the show and say hello, but definitely.
Sell, or is this the time? Oh man!
So because
business?
I agree with Alan's question, because one of the things that we see in the industry is I've seen brands that came the last 4 years, done great job, and been acquisition, right? Taken by somebody else. It doesn't, it doesn't make it bad. Sometimes business decisions are business decisions, right? So Alan's question is valid because you guys are raising a few eyebrows in the whiskey industry, and I'm sure a few people are looking at you guys like, these kids are doing great. What's going on here? Let's check in and see what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't know if we would make. It's not something that we really kick around, and I don't think we would make sense for an acquisition either because of our tie to our farm. Because someone might want a distillery, but the farm is kind of a big part of our story. It's where we get our name. It's where we get our limestone spring water for proofing all of our whiskey into the barrel and into the bottle. And it's where we grow a lot of our grain. So I don't think we're set up for an acquisition, and it's not something we've entertained. It's again, there are other people involved. So It's not just
Alan said no judgment here. He said
No, but
there's no judgment. He's just very curious.
No, I think it's always an interesting question because I don't think about it, and then when you get to ask this question, you're like, I don't know. We just don't really talk about it or think about it because we think we're literally only 5 years into this, and
Sure.
so I can't get my head wrapped around that. We're just finally getting our whiskey onto the market. We're finally just kind of getting our sea legs underneath us. We're kind of just finally somewhat figuring this out. By no means have we perfected it, but but we're just finally kind of like coming into our own, and like it's getting really fun. And so it's
something even more interesting is happening in the comment, Brett. This is all you. So he started with since Brian said that he was a penny.
Yeah.
So I say I'll buy it for a penny. And Jake, if anybody don't know Jake also another fantastic guy in the industry. Jake, and then he was raised a penny. Now Jake went for $1. So I think we need to have a special one for this show where we'll see at the end of the show how much are we going to actually sell it for, and whatever it is, you guys can donate to the show, and we'll make sure you get that one too. Right now we're at $1. The penny proof is at $1. Who got better?
Tim moved it to $2.
Yeah, okay. Tim said he will raise you $1, so we are at $2 right now. So $2 for the penny proof. We'll see by the end of the show where we get it.
Hello to you too, Jake.
Just pay the fine and go about my day.
Oh my Lord, that's incredible.
So Brett, can you guarantee us one penny proof so we can actually make sure at the end of the show somebody gets a penny proof?
I don't know.
I got
you. Have to go to work.
Ryan's got it.
Ryan got it. So right now we are $2. Final offer here, $2.99. It's $2.99. We got some big spenders around here. So $2.99 is what we got going on. Somebody's giving $3.01. No more than that. $3.01. That's exactly what it's going to be. So we got $3.01 right now. But I appreciate it.
I think that answers the question. I don't see anybody buying a whiskey company that can only sell their whiskey for $3.01.
Right? Somebody go musk monkey. What's going on here? I say make it 5, Tim, and I'll pay the money in your hand on Thursday.
Is Jake going to you, or you coming here, Tim?
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Sounds
Make
like
it $5.
Maybe I want to be invited. That's all. I mean,
Jake. Yeah, Jake. I don't know. Jake is traveling quite a bit. He have a lot going on.
He'll be here.
Yeah, Thursday. We have the May the 4th tasting.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, with Jake. So Jake is always doing something for the industry. Top Dog came with a big one, $5.01. Oh, you guys got beat. It's $5.69 now. So $5.69 is the last number. It's $5.69.
Gosh, I feel like you're going to get a $7.50 for that.
You know what? We're living at $5.75, and it's going hot. It's going hot. So that's going to be the best penny. Okay. Somebody says screw it. $19.99. The best offer. That's what's going to be. You guys are late on this. You're late on this.
Oh man,
thanks for tuning in, Alan. Appreciate it.
Alan, thank you so much for tuning
buddy.
in. I appreciate you being here. I can't wait to see you, buddy. I'm gonna try my best to see if we can see each other.
What up, Nate?
Nate, the penny proof is one
Nate,
of the
I heard
specials.
you were in town and I didn't get to see you, and I'm kind of bummed out, man.
The penny proof is one of the specials from the distillery from Sagamore itself. Whatever at the end of the day we get, we'll be donated to the show. So right now we are $21. That's what it's gonna cost. That's what someone is gonna will to pay for this. So
I saw that Jake just kind of took off on its own.
yeah. Jake started.
Sorry,
this.
Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
An innocent little comment again, like boom.
Yeah. So we are 21 right
we
now.
said at the beginning, welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the shit show, indeed. So we appreciate all of you guys jumping in. I'm loving this. So did you guys blend the Jamaican barrels and
South American
barrel? It's going. It's keep going by. This show is we're gonna make our whole quota of the whole month by the time this show is done.
This show's gonna pay for itself. The first show of May.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm glad I wasn't drinking. But before this, I would probably pour on the fuel, just saying, "Oh, let's come to Baltimore."
RAF. I wonder RAF. I need to get who you are, because that's a generous amount. We appreciate it. So what project, before we get to this double up, what project do you guys have coming on soon that people need to be aware of? Like we have the Jamaican here. Alan actually offered, if you guys want to try anything in absinthe barrel, he'll kick you guys one absinthe barrel. Alan love his absinthe, so he said that. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I'd love to connect with Alan, and it's been a while, so and I can't appreciate his kind words enough. Us, it's really just still focusing in on getting that Maryland Rye whiskey in there. So nothing. I don't want to say that there isn't a lot going on, because there is, but the way we look at it is, you only get to transition from MGP to your product once, and you got to do it right. And if you don't do it right, it could take 5 years of everything Brett and myself and others have worked on, and it could go quickly. So like, we don't want a lot of distractions right now, because we've got to nail this.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody want to talk about your tequila finish after your rum?
Patrick was actually asking if you guys can disclose where
the tequila
where the tequila barrels came from. He says he can't quite pinpoint the barrel. I don't know if you could talk about the actual barrel that y'all
Unfortunately, I can't. I can tell you it was 8-year-old extra añejo tequila in it, though.
Okay, 8-year-old extra añejo. We can't go wrong with that.
Squatty bottle.
So, for all of you here, Matt said, "You know what? I'm not even going to waste my time." He put his money where he's putting his mouth where his money is, or his money where his mouth is. He donated his $19 immediately. That's what he is about, because everybody's is calling big prices, and he's done playing. All right, thank you, Matt.
I got 3 200 milliliters samples total, so I can send.
So, guys, Matt is guaranteed one. Matt is already guaranteed one. So whomever is talking, RAF, we want to see that sticker. We want to see. Put your mouth. You know what? I'm an immigrant. My immigrant breath is kicking in. I don't know what the expression is. Somebody help me
where
out.
Your mouth is.
Okay, all right. Put your money where your mouth is. Matt is already guaranteed a bottle. I will make sure he's displayed here. He's the contender right now, guaranteed a bottle. So,
thanks, Matt.
Weren't you guys afraid when you guys tackled the double look?
No, we weren't smart enough to know what we could be doing wrong. So, no. Because I'll be perfectly honest. We when we did the first one, we thought it was one of the greatest tasting products we've done. And that's why we also decided we would do it. It was supposed to be a one and done project.
Top dog. Second.
And then I sent it to Larry Ebersold, and we were so proud of it. And he called me back. He's like, "It's okay."
What? Did he say it's okay?
Yeah. Okay. That was he's like, yeah. He's like, "How long was it in the barrel?" I was like, "Finished it. It was about 5-6 months finished in the toasted wave state barrel." He's like, "Yeah, that's your problem." He's like, "You need more time."
You need to give it more time.
So that's why we're 18 months now inside that barrel. So we've moved from 5-6 months to 18.
Oh.
So we're lucky. It was well received, even on batch 1. Otherwise, we would not have done. But we've come a long way since batch 1. And I'm hoping you guys have batch 6.
6, yes. 6
Yeah,
AC.
Great.
Yeah, 6 AC. Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
So
man.
this one's
I
just
got
about
you.
19 months.
Tiff. I got you, Tiff. Don't worry. Once I meet with my accountant again next week,
It's
I'll
like-
send everybody's stuff out.
But check out
Damn,
the color
dude.
on this when you
Yeah.
get.
Oh, dude, it's super dark.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That is no trick photography there, ladies and gentlemen. That is some dark whiskey.
It's super dark, and the oils on it are something else, man. It's got a really nice mouthfeel.
And we're using wave staves, so grooves cut into the inside of every stave. We're not dropping anything in or anything like that. And
So I would say you guys are the first. You guys are the first.
The first.
There is bourbon double oaked, but there
rye.
haven't been rye double oaked.
I think Peerless might be on the train too, but
I think-
Sagamore might have done it first.
First, you guys are the first.
I know I think there's a lot in the pipeline, or there might start to be out there. I don't know if we were the first, but I could tell you we were early for sure.
I would tell you right now, you guys are the first, because I read a lot of new things coming out, and I don't think people may be working on one, but y'all need to take credit for that. Whoa.
Well,
Y'all
thank you.
Because I'm literally smelling. I'm like, is there any rye double oak? I don't think
Holy
so.
smoke.
Not too many.
Dude, this is like,
What's up, Black Bourbon family?
holy goodness.
That's
Man,
Chicago in the house.
wow.
All right.
Tim, you like
let's
that?
see let's see what the
That
rating
is
Tell me more about it. So first barrel,
that is a
what's the
journey,
char
man.
level on that?
It's toasted light char 1.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, the first barrel. The first barrel.
first
I
barrel.
apologize. It depends on the cooperage. It's either a 3 or a 4. It
Okay.
can vary. We have one cooperage that burns all natural wood for charring, and one cooperage that does gas. And so that will change our char level based on that. So we're either a 3 or 4, and then I apologize. And then on the second one, that's where, like Brett said, that's toasted. And in theory, we do a little bit of a light char 1 at the base of it, so we can still call it a straight rye whiskey.
Got it.
So how much does it differ from batch 5? Actually, by batch 5, we were 18 months in it. It was around, but batch 4 would be closer to 12 months, 14 months on the secondary finishing. It wasn't until batch 5 that we actually got to a full 18 months on the finishing. And
Okay.
I'm gonna say something. And it's gonna be interesting.
I got to go.
It's like
Connections to Milwaukee.
this right here. I shit you not. It's like having a spicy grill smoked salmon. That's literally what it is. Like in my mouth, it has that. It's like it's like if you ever had like firewood smoked salmon, those dark, like almost burnt. Like I'm from Africa. You literally don't buy salmon. You buy salmon that have been hanged and smoked. That's how you take it home to make food with. It's not fresh salmon. It's dried and then smoked. But it has that spiciness, but yet there is this, I don't want to use the word funk, but that's the only way to explain it. There's this funk into the taste that reminds you of literally spicy smoked salmon. That's all I feel like I'm having right now.
Well, now you're gonna have to make us some spicy smoked salmon because it's just not fair.
I got to say, this one is
Look at
wild. I love hearing the feedback.
Barbecue elder plank paprika, and pepper.
Yeah, there you go.
There's
It does have a
something
beautiful
savory.
baking spice on it.
There's something savory about this rye. It's not the typical whiskey spice
It's not.
note of
It's not
Florida.
desserty. Like
The
most
floral notes are
double-barreled stuff
gone.
is like, yeah, most double-barreled stuff it gets real desserty, and it's got some sweetness to it, but it's more like bitter chocolate than anything. But yeah, Jack, you're spot on that. It's more on the savory side, which is how y'all did that. It's got to be the rye.
I was confused for a minute. I'm like, what is happening here in the notes?
Well, what's always interesting
Most
is
double oak I don't like because too sweet. Almost get to that dark chocolatey note. This is like the spice is there, the savory notes are there. And if I close my eyes like right now, if you give me this guy and you say, well, what are we pairing this thing with? I say, give me nice spice. I want a spiced salmon, or give me a sushi with some wasabi next to it and some soy sauce. That's what I want. I want something that is by the sea. Hell, take some crab legs and give me some paprika and like that. I want something immediately like that comes by the sea right away and fresh in my mouth. That's what this is. I'll be honest.
That's cool.
You guys did well on most of your stuff. This shit right here. Y'all are on to something.
Thank you, sir.
If somebody asks me, I haven't tried all your stuff, and I would love to experience all your stuff. But if somebody asked me tonight after this show, what would you recommend that I have? I'll ask them, do you like seafood? Like, yes. Do you like spicy food? Yes. Here's what you need.
Well, I think it's interesting too. You know, bourbon, as we all know, is sweeter than rye, right? And rye has a baking spices, and then that second maturation is exposing to another set of wood sugars again. And so, I think the rye works out really well as far as a balance in there of savory, like you mentioned, and whereas you can be just a big sweet bomb, and that's what I love about like just how you get those depths and those layers and those kind of just really just complexities in that there's a lot going on.
A little dark chocolate note coming up when you have your second and third sip, some dark chocolate note coming up. But I love the level of spiciness, right? I love that bacon spice / cinnamon. It's not abrasive.
I agree.
I will. Whoa. Okay. I'm not. I will tell you, I drink a lot of whiskey, so impressing me is hard. I'll be honest. Impressing me is hard anymore because I feel like somewhere I said, I'm like, hey, everybody do the same stupid thing. Let's make it through this interview. We'll be fine. You just have to taste it. But this stopped me on my track.
Thank you. Means a lot.
Thank you.
Really
Yeah.
do. We know you have, and what I like
track.
about your palate too, Jack, is like I know you like your scotches, I know you like your bourbons, I know
Correct.
you like your cognacs, like which I really appreciate versus being very one dimensional. So I know you got a great palate. So thank you.
I can literally submit this. I can give this to a Scotch drinker, and they will love it.
Hands down.
They will love it. Like if I put this in a blind and give it to a Scotch drinker, do you know what he's gonna talk about? You know the first thing he's gonna say? Do we have any? Is this a Oloroso sherry cask? Like that's the first thing. Like this, I go. This probably is a Pedro Jimenez cask. That's the first. If I told him it was Scotch, like there's rye and like I was like it's a blended Scotch of rye and rye grain and that, they would literally fall for it because of the depth of the flavors inside of it. Like I would be the crazy guy that would go crazy on what you guys did right now and just take one of those peated barrels and take this juice and just dump it in there. Like it'll be a crazy experiment. Like people will be, excuse my French, but mind fucked from here till tomorrow. Like that's what's gonna happen.
It's funny because we have done a couple Lafroy barrel finishes, but it wasn't with a double oak. And when you started talking, I started thinking to myself, why haven't we taken a double oak and finished it? And, so,
and I want to try. And I want to try your finish in Lafroy barrel. I want to know what that would taste like, because the way your rye is, I want to have that shit at cast strength. Being a peated whiskey lover, I want to have this bourbon at cast strength straight out of Lafroy barrel. Like, I would lose my shit.
I can't remember what we ended up bottling that at. It was only 2 barrels. Again, it was just kind of what was. Brett, do you recall that at all?
No, I have a bottle somewhere here, but I won't find it anytime soon. So I can get back to you.
Well,
Brett is like, this is lost in my. This is lost in the vertex of bottles.
Yeah.
Hold on, it might not be as far away as I thought. I'll be back.
Oh, look at that. Well, it is, and that's again, I always tell the guys, like, it's like, and the men and women we work with is, we don't sell tomatoes, so like, leave it on the rack. You never know where this thing's going to go. So we'll take, you see this evolution of it kind of bouncing around, nose diving, getting really good again, nose diving occasionally. We've had to take some barrels. One of my favorite ones we ever did was our Calvados finish, but we actually went to go release that. We actually had to postpone it for over a year because it got a botanicky bite from being inside that French oak for as long as it was.
Calvados is tricky.
It's tricky. And so we ended up dumping all of it because it got the apple notes that we wanted and that really great, like, it was really beautiful pairing. But and then we put it back in freshly dumped rye barrels. So we went back to American oak, but freshly dumped rye barrels. Yep. And then did 13 months inside those, balanced it back out, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, And so, we're fortunate enough where time can solve a lot of our problems, And so, and that's what I think what we're having so much fun with is you can try something really a little bit off. If you don't like the direction, try to put it in something else and see where it goes. It makes for a great story, no matter what. Talking about the journey, everybody wants to know about the journey of the whiskey, right?
Correct.
This was 117.
Yep. I thought he might like that one.
So, I mean, Brett, you really don't need that bottle, right?
I
I mean, you're not a Scotch guy and one of those peated things that those people do. You don't need that bottle.
I got something else to get your way, so I might just add to the care package.
Okay. Anyway, guys, I promised myself I'm not going to start taking more than an hour of people's time, but it's so fun talking to y'all. It's like we are back again, literally, in New Orleans. We need to do this, but 2 things for sure. 1, Monday Sucks want to work on a project with y'all, so we need to talk later. We want to come visit the distillery and see if we can work on a project with y'all so we are able to actually bring something special, new. I love the fact that you guys doing 1 or 2 barrels. Maybe we can do something special that is Monday Sucks so we can bring it to the world on our collaboration together on something we actually did. That's one thing. Second, the word is faith, right? Faith. The word of the day after listening to y'all is faith. It's hard to have faith in distilleries because whiskey is a finicky business. But when you know the passion behind the producer and the relentless fearlessness that people put behind their whiskey, you go, I have faith in you. I think you're going to make it. Even if you don't make it, I have faith in you that you are on the path to make something happen. So that out of this conversation, that's the one thing I got. When you're buying a bottle of Sagamore, you believe in faith. You believe in the ability of someone taking something that is relevantly special and unique on itself and giving it a chance and seeing exactly what is it that your palate is ready to receive. I'm glad we talked. I'm happy we talked because more than anything else, now I have faith that it's like, okay, Sagamore is on a certain road. It's something special is in the horizon. So
But you're asking
I'm
something
gonna be the
special.
first one to say congratulations on your future success already,
Yeah,
because things
serious.
that you guys are putting out there is gonna totally change the way the whiskey world is gonna be. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what comes in the future. I cannot wait to see us all grow together. Being new can be a hindrance, but I tell you right now, sometimes being the weird and new kid on the block is actually an advantage. And I think it is your advantage. So stay weird. Don't be normal. Stay weird. Keep producing those things, because people that love what you do stay literally by you. They stick
Well,
by you.
I can't like I'm beyond humbled. Your kind words that mean a tremendous amount, and I know you know this, but I tend to use this a lot. It's an actually old African proverb where I always tell the team, I said, you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far,
You go
we go together.
you go together.
Yep.
That's my uncle used to tell me this every time, because I was an over competitive kid.
Was he a cool uncle?
That was my cool uncle. That's how I knew you are the cool uncle. So we never closed the show without you actually cut me and were ahead of what I was about to say, because Monday Sucks does not close without an advice that does not suck, because it's Monday Sucks. So we give one advice that does not suck. We remind people that we are still here to learn and we love people that much. So I will have you repeat it one more time for the people. Um, your advice that does not suck, and then we'll go to Brett. It could be your guru, your grandfather, your grandmother, your church, your inspirational speaker. One advice that you know that does not suck. I will let you, Brian, repeat what you just said right now, so people can take it as an advice that does not suck for
Yep.
Monday.
So at Sagamore, everybody brings value, everybody matters, and everybody makes the contributions and makes is there, and their success is because of every single person involved. And so we always say, and it's hard when you're a new business. Like you want to go fast, you want to make these changes, but you have to be careful. So we always say, you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, we go together.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Brett, what you got?
I guess the one that comes to mind, if people know me, I'm not a shallow under the pool guy. I only do a few things, but I'm always in the deep end when I do them. And the one that sticks back with me when I first started playing water polo as a short, fat kid that couldn't swim, and I ended up leading a team to state years later, is that people with great passion can make the impossible happen. And if you saw our team and who we were up against way back when, as teenage water polo players, then it's reflected in what we do here with this team. Brian leads with utmost passion, and I think it's so fun and easy to give your all to what we do, and we're going to make the impossible happen and build a tremendous brand, because we have great passion, and everything we're doing is coming from the right spot.
People with great passion makes the impossible happen. I needed to hear that. Even I needed to hear that, because everybody asked me the same time, where do you find the inspiration to do what you do? Or Hood Sommelier, you're doing well. No, I'm very passionate about what I do. So I have to remind myself of that on days where I don't want to post that picture. I don't want to create that content. I don't want to reach out to that brand. I have to remind myself that people with great passion make the impossible happen. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for hanging out with us. We call this Monday Sucks. The channel is Hood Sommelier, but this is now your house. Anytime you have something to say, you are now part of our family. Feel free to come in, reach out, say, hey, I got something to say. And this is your house, so you're allowed to come in. African rules apply here. Once you came in the house and we drink together, you're now part of our family. You will not be invited again, because you're expected to just walk in, because today here is your house. So feel free to come in anytime. Any release that is coming up. I tell people brands don't do a really good job on people that want to support them. So make sure if there's any press release of any new thing that's coming up, send it out to me, send it out to Send it out to Tim, and let's make sure that we share with the world so people know, because most people refer to this episode, they want to know about a brand, but when we post about it and saying they have a new release, most people are excited to go, hey, I heard about you guys on Monday Sucks. Now I can go and grab this bottle because I know what you're about. Like I said, we on Monday Sucks are people lovers first and whiskey lovers second. And it seemed like we have found some new people to add to our family, and we appreciate you being here. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out. You have my information. You know how to reach me, and you're now part of our family. So thank you all so much. Enjoy your Monday, the rest of whatever your Monday is, and hope this week goes according to plan, and it doesn't suck as much as as much as the rest of some people's week will be. Thank you so much for coming, Ryan, Brett.
Thank
Brett,
you.
thanks for always being here. Thanks for being part of the community, being the guy who quiet but dangerous. You're like a fart, quiet but dangerous. That's what you are, Brett. I love you that way because you're quiet
Appreciate
but dangerous, and you even do better in person than you do in
it.
camera. So I will tell
Appreciate
you
it.
right now, you guys, I'm gonna talk to Tim this year. We're gonna plan a trip, and we will come visit y'all and make sure
Awesome.
that we hang out together.
Can't wait.
So I appreciate you guys coming on, and we'll see you next time. I will take you guys out the show, and we can close the show, and we'll see you pretty soon.
Cheers, guys.
Party people,
Whew.
guys, is always an honor to have people that actually we care about the people and also what they do every day into the industry. Um, like I say, this was Monday Sucks. Is always Monday Sucks. Um, I am Jack Bigadoo. You can find me on the internet as Hood Sommelier, or you can catch me on the Instagram or on the Facebook, and every now and then on TikTok, where I start violence for no reason. But Tim, tell the people where they can find you.
Violence for no reason. I'm about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can find me on all your favorite social media platforms. You find yourself in the lovely state of Kentucky and you're in Louisville, make sure you stop by Evergreen Liquors in Nulu. Come see me, have a drink, have a chat, and yeah, maybe find some more stuff to get into trouble about.
absolutely, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. If you're on Facebook, make sure you follow the page. If you're on YouTube, make sure you actually check in with us. Follow us on YouTube so we can actually bring you more and more content. For those of you guys that donated your bottles, I think the only person I do not have your address. Maybe the only person I may not have your address is Top Dog. So Top Dog, make sure you send me a DM so I can have your address. I already have my address, so I can send it over to the team at Sagamore so they can send you your penny proof that you have. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you next Monday.